Alright guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at a brand that does things a little differently when it comes to design. I love a unique watch, and Isotope watches have built up quite a catalog of interesting pieces, with their latest being the GMT 0 degrees. I have two versions of the watch here to show you guys today. Huge thanks to Jose from Isotope Watches for lending these in. It's really appreciated. So let's switch things up and take a look at the watches. Now, Isotope has three watches so far in their lineup, each with multiple color variations. I had in their compressor diver a few months back, and that was a really cool watch. I really liked the case design, and the bracelet was really nice too. Isotope has a knack for design. The watches are different, but still very well done. Sometimes brands go maybe a little too unique, but Isotope, I find, reins it in just enough. They are a British-based company, and the name of the new GMT 0 degrees comes from the fact that they're on the same meridian as Greenwich, which is 0 degrees longitude. The watch is available in a total of 6 color options, 2 of which are limited editions. I have the white as well as the blue here today. I've mostly been wearing the blue version, but the white looks really good too. Now, one thing you'll see across all Isotope watches is the use of the lacrima shape. Lacrima, I just recently discovered, is the Latin word for tear, and it's used a total of 3 times on the watch. One is the center area with the GMT disc. It's also the shape of the marker on the disc for the GMT time. The third is the partial display case back. It's actually well thought out with how they place the text on the rotor to stay visible in any position. Surrounding that is also the different time zones with the major cities. While we're looking at the case back, one thing you don't notice from the top down is the case is actually an oval shape, and it's meant to represent the 0 degrees the watch is named for. The bezel is round, so it looks like your typical round case shape from the top, but I think it's kind of a neat design, and it does keep the lug to lug quite short too. We've got a pretty cool looking side profile with how the case bulges out, and we've also got some nice details with the lugs there too. The dial has one slight negative for me, and that is I find the date very hard to read. I believe on the production models the red dot will be quite a bit brighter, so that will definitely help, but it does take a little time to even find the date as is. No problems with telling time though. The way the hands are brushed, they always tend to catch the light right to get the time with a quick look, and same goes for the GMT disc. Now, running the watch is a movement I don't believe I've ever had experience with. It's the SwissTech S24-45, which is an ETA clone. Seems to be running fine. The crown's a screw-down crown, by the way, and the winding action, really good. To set the date and GMT, you pull the crown out to the first position. Clockwise will change the date, and counterclockwise the GMT. And to the second position, we can set our time. The movement is a 28 joule movement and beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour with a 40-hour power reserve. The watch comes out with the pouch you see in the background here, and on the site they say it comes with a Cordura strap. I'm not sure if it's both a Cordura and this leather, but the prototypes didn't come with the Cordura. The buckle on this strap is extremely heavy duty and actually has similar cutouts to the lugs, which looks kind of cool. One somewhat of a negative is the size of the strap. The lug opening on the watch is 24 millimeters. Looks fine, but I like to play around with different strap options, and I just don't have many, and I may not even have any 24 millimeter straps at the moment. Not a major big deal, but definitely worth mentioning for the guys that like to swap straps frequently. So case size on the watch comes in at a width of 41.6 millimeters. I mentioned before we had quite a short lug to lug. The lug to lug is only 44.6 millimeters. Thickness is 14.3 millimeters, including the domed sapphire, and the water resist is 200 meters. And here's a look on my 7.25 inch wrist. And one thing I will say with that wider 24 millimeter strap, it does seem to keep the watch seated well on wrist. Cost for one of these is 700 British pounds. If you go to their site right now, there is a 15% off code. It's GMT15, which I believe is only good until the end of this month. Only a couple more days to go before that expires. You can find a link to their site in the description below. Overall, I really like the design. Another cool release from the brand. Thanks again to Isotope for lending in the watches. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.